Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Kuzo Convos. I am your host, Tebi Iguisi, and trust me, I've got something good in store for you guys. I've got a good friend of mine who's come in, made his first million at the age of 22. He's a unknown boss, right? Unknown. You guys haven't heard of him. He's not really, he should be on the map as one of the youngest black millionaires in the UK, but he's not. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Sanu Ogunkoya. How you doing today? Listen, we know each other from school days, man, so it's always an honour to be in your presence, sir. No, thank you very much for coming through, man.
Likewise.
So, you need to tell us, man, give us a bit of a backdrop. So, you made your first million at 22. I mean, how did you do that? Because that's when people are just graduating, man. How did you manage to do that?
So I didn't follow the traditional path. So obviously, Nigerians, they want you to be lawyer, doctor, accountant, engineer. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't make it, right? I didn't make it that far. For me, I kind of saw that the traditional way of education and the traditional way of just living, it wasn't something that was sitting right with me. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to work for someone else. I wanted to be my own boss from young. Mm. So even from young times, I remember that to make money, I was selling sweets at school, electronics. I remember that, man. I was known as that guy. I was like Connect. Mm-hmm. So I've always kind of known like making money for myself as opposed to getting a paycheck or having some type of security. Yeah. So I've always just had that kind of mindset from young, and because of that, even times when we had work experience and stuff like that in school, I always had anxiety, like, yo, someone else is gonna be paying me, like, why? Do you understand? There was no cognitive thing that kind of put two and two together. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I was during the times of university, I told my mum, even though I got accepted to like different universities and that, I told my mum,
because you did very well at A level, didn't you? You got 2 A's and a B. 2 A's and a B, and what was it? Economics,
maths, and chemistry.
See, you're a bright box academically anyway. I'm surprised you haven't got your PhD yet. So I mean, tell us, man. Tell us more about it.
Man, so for me, basically, so just going back, so when I actually was going to university, I kind of wanted to get into music, right? That was kind of like my thing I wanted to do. And obviously I know I've produced for you.
Yeah, you have, man. Good solid beats, man. Good solid beats, yeah.
I'm still going to get my royalties from you later. But basically, I didn't know how to market my beats. A lot of people were saying that my beats were good, but I didn't know how to market it. So I kind of Googled a lot of people online about how to be able to actually find a mentor that can actually help me with marketing and whatnot. And I actually came across a few people that were in the MLM space and are talking about how to actually market online. And for those of you who don't know what MLM is, MLM multi-level marketing is basically where you can sell products and get people to be able to sell products for you, to be underneath you in your teams, and you can actually get rewarded, right, from other people selling products for you, right? So you can plug into a system and basically create little subsystems underneath you as well. So I did that for a little bit, so I realized that I was making a lot more money with higher ticket stuff than selling like $40 beats, $30 beats. And from probably about a year in, I then realized that it was draining me, because the way that a lot of people kind of teach in the MLM space is kind of like to pitch family, to pitch friends and whatnot. Yeah. Everyone was not...
Is it a bit like that NCN?
ACN, yeah. So they're an MLM company, as an example.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you know people in ACN, like, you don't want to speak to them too much, because next thing you know, they'll try and get you to somewhere. Next thing you know, it becomes a madness. So... for me, I didn't want to keep pitching people. I was making a little bit of money here and there. I kind of like made my first $10,000 ish, right? In the MLM company. But I spent crazy amount of time and a crazy amount of money even just getting into it. So I didn't really walk away with too much, right? However, it did give me a good foundation into like working for myself, like properly. And unfortunately, like when my mom kind of found out that I wasn't really going to university, she kicked me out. So I was living in HMOs. At one point, I was actually homeless as well. And I then realized that instead of selling stuff and getting paid for what you sell, there was actually something that I actually learned about from somebody who was actually in kind of like my MLM team that I met at an event, whereby I could actually get paid on performance for working with businesses. Okay. And I can get paid for every single lead, call, or download that I can actually send to a business, not just to sell. So this was something called performance marketing or CPA marketing. And that was when I really had a light bulb moment to be like, you know what, if I can buy ad space online or even utilize social media, and I can send those ads to offers that I don't even own, and I can get paid for just sending leads to a business. So when somebody puts their name and the email address into a form for a business, I can get paid a commission for that.
Yeah.
Then I could probably make quite a bit of money. Do you understand? And do it effortlessly and make money in my sleep. And with MLM, I couldn't make money in my sleep. If I didn't pitch and if I didn't sell, I wouldn't make any money.
Yeah.
But with this CPA thing, performance marketing, I realized that I could actually make money in my sleep consistently 24/7, and it wouldn't require me to have to pitch somebody again.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it was a smooth journey, but literally like within my first year doing performance marketing, CPA marketing, I literally went from being broke, busted and disgusted with somebody homeless to somebody literally that was able to make, I think, $365,000 ish in my first year. Then like my second year, this was when I was about 22, I literally made my first $1 million right online in a year. And then from that point, I've been able to make quite a few $1 million online from performance marketing and other businesses as well that I've ventured into, that I've been around it. So I've had different.
So where did you learn this? Because I know you went to the States for a while. Yeah. So I mean, tell us a bit about how your trip to America was and the events that happened.
Loved it, and I hated it at the same time. Right, America, personally, I love it. Right, like it's an amazing place. The reason why I actually hated it was for the fact that I had a very bad business relationship at the time with somebody that, like, I really thought that me and him, we could grow something really big together. But it did teach me a lot. It did teach me a lot of things that I still kind of take today, right, as foundational business principles. And I'm better able to evaluate business partners better now than then. So I think it's a blessing at the same time.
Okay. So,
but it was painful. I did lose quite a lot of money in that business relationship.
I can imagine. Give us a number. Let the viewers, let the audience,
altogether,
let's play with numbers.
At least 6 figures.
Wow.
So at least over 100K.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And for those of you who are interested in sort of the documentation of when you was homeless and all these things, you know, I'll put a link to his social medias and stuff, and you can be kept up to date. So obviously you've done very well for yourself. You're a millionaire.
Hey, me, I'm trying to be like you.
I'm trying to be like you. We're all trying to make this money, right? But you know, you've obviously, as a black man in the UK, I would say you're unheard of. You're quite quiet compared to a lot of people who sort of use social media to their advantage, and you know, people know who they are. Is there a particular reason for why you stay quiet and humble? And you've been like that since school days as well. I think even in lessons, you wouldn't be interacting too much with the class. You just keep your head down and do your work. So I mean, what was the purpose for that?
Naturally, I kind of feel like I'm just naturally introverted. I'm not really that type of person that wants to be known. I kind of somebody that's better with my own thoughts, and I can literally be like by myself, like almost like solitary confinement, and be okay with it. So it's kind of like my natural makeup. And in addition to that, the reason why I didn't want to be that kind of guy that was brash and loud is because I've seen so many people that do that and where they end up. So you see a lot of people, right, especially celebrities and whatnot, they get caught up. And you don't know who's really there for you and who's not as well, if people just know you for this one perception. So for me, I've kind of thought about it that, listen, do I want to kind of go down that route, or do I want to be that person that, like, there's a lot of billionaires that you never know their name.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get me? They have real businesses, and you never know their name. And I thought, you know what, why don't I try and like actually build real tangible businesses rather than just be known as this flashy kid and stuff like that. So I know that, you know, in the social media podcast, like, you can probably help me with my social media, because I haven't posted on Instagram for like the last 2 years.
For a long time.
But I will get back to that.
That's good,
because just to inspire people a bit.
You have to definitely. I mean, I've been screaming this for the longest period, because the wisdom and knowledge that you've gained over the years, because you've been doing it since, you know, your teens. So you have a lot to share. So I mean, I definitely encourage you to give us some more wisdom. So give us some good numbers here. You know, you've obviously made a lot of money in one day. Well, let's say 1 week. What's the most you've made?
Over 100,000.
Over 100 in 1 week.
Over 100,000 in 1 week.
That's crazy. Wow. And what was that? How did you do that? What was the process for that?
It was a lot of launching, advertising, a lot of something that we call media buying. So that is buying a lot of high volume advertising spots, and oftentimes you have to front the money up front for a spot of advertising space, and then from that point you have to try and figure out what works on the back end of that. And it was a lot of management of a team as well, right? So even though like the money comes to me, I still have a lot of employees as well that's responsible for little parts, right, of the whole makeup. So a lot of management of employees as well.
Wow, okay, nice one.
And a lot of sleepless nights as well, because boy, when you're dealing with that kind of volume as well, like even one link breaking can literally be like thousands of dollars being lost in an hour. So yeah, it's been mad sometimes.
I mean, one thing you just said is sort of sleepless nights, right?
Yeah.
But I know obviously as you've been progressing, you managed to obviously be, you know, you've got employees now, you've got people who sort your stuff out. But I'd like for you to just explain a little bit in terms of sort of your discipline and your routine, just on a day to day. We can throw numbers out there, hundreds of thousands, millions, but what's the process? Because we speak nearly every day. I'm trying to get some insight. You've been helping me out a lot. You know, what's the process? You know, give us a day in the life of Sanu. So how does it work for you?
I'm a grindaholic. Like, I am the worst when it comes to formalities.
Grindaholic.
Yeah. I'm literally the worst when it comes to formalities. Like, I literally wake up with my laptop still probably on, and I will literally work the whole day, and I'll literally like fall asleep with my laptop probably still on. Like, it's bad. It's very, very bad. And I don't have a formal routine, and I feel like that's something that I really looked at when I'm hiring people. I'm trying to hire people as well that I can kind of learn from. And operations right now is something that I'm looking to hire more skilled people than I am, because I've realized where my strengths are. And I feel like with the entrepreneurship kind of perception, people always believe you have to be great at everything. And I know I have my weaknesses, and one of my big weaknesses I know for a fact is my organizational processes and building structure in a day. Like for me, I'm kind of sporadic, but I'm always trying to follow the money.
So what would you say in terms of marketing, because obviously you're in that space, what is the most effective strategy for, let's say, people who are sort of trying to use social media, right? So do you have any particular strategies which you would recommend or would use personally to maximize, let's say, a brand's ROI or your own ROI? What strategy can you recommend?
But it depends on the business entirely, right? Definitely depends on the business. But what I've generally found for most businesses is the big mistake I feel like a lot of people when it comes to social media have is they always try and make money on the front end. And I look at business like in a completely opposite way to a lot of people do. If you can build something whereby the front end money that you're making from a customer can cover the cost of acquiring that customer, you can build a scalable business very, very quickly. And a lot of what I do now, we don't even try and focus on front end money. We try and focus on building a funnel whereby when we send people from social media, because we do a lot of paid advertising on social media. So when we send somebody from social media to a funnel, we want to break even on that customer with the front end product, and then from that point the back end money is where we then make the actual real profits. So if you kind of look at that, we call that self-liquidating funnels, whereby you can liquidate the actual ad cost or the acquisition cost of a customer with a front end offer. And if you can do that, then literally you're basically getting customers for free. And the back end, that's where you can get them to become the real profit center for your business.
So tell us a little bit about the obstacles that you faced. Obviously, I know you said that you got kicked out of your own home, and you obviously went to America, learned a lot the hard way. But what obstacles in terms of business would you say that you faced over this period?
How long
over the last 3-4 years?
Boy, how long we got?
We've got. Just give it to us.
Because every single day is a new obstacle, to be honest with you. But some of the most challenging obstacles has probably been a lot of stuff that was unexpected. So for me, one of the big things that was kind of challenging for me wasn't really learning about processes, was more so about learning about management of people. That was very, very challenging, because obviously business is about people, and usually I've just been in a hustler mode, right, for a lot of time. So when I actually realized that to actually build a real business, I need to have people to be able to like actually manage processes and whatnot. Building the processes and actually managing the people and finding the people to be able to run the processes has been challenging. And also just dealing with cash, right? Like that is something that I don't feel like a lot of people like are aware of how challenging that can be in cash flow, because we've had so many times whereby we've ran big campaigns, right, for companies. We've actually expected a payment to come in, and for whatever reason, maybe the company shut down.
Yeah.
Or they come up with whatever reason as to why they don't want to pay us. And next thing you know, we're just out of money, and we need that money to be able to facilitate the business. So there's like just being able to balance cash and be able to balance like risks and whatnot. It's been another obstacle as well.
Yeah.
But literally, boy, there's so many obstacles I've had to experience, and even just dealing with people around me as well, like people that didn't want to see eye to eye on my visions as well.
Yeah.
Like even just from a personal standpoint, like that was even challenging as well, and just getting my mindset right. Do you understand? To be able to take the big risks and like pay for the masterminds and the mentorship and stuff like that was just mental obstacles I had to overcome and whatnot. Because I mean, when you're in your early 20s and then next thing you know, somebody's saying, hey, join my mastermind, you're gonna learn about XYZ about marketing, but it's gonna be 10 grand. You're like, that would be nice, but I haven't got the money right now. But then there's a challenge in your mind where it's like, hold on, should I accept the reality that yes, my bank account doesn't have the money right now to be able to pay this 10 grand? Or can I be creative and think about how to leverage money, whether it's my own money that I create from a new venture, or whether I'm leveraging other people's money, right, whether it's the bank's money or other partners' money, to be able to pay for this mentorship so I can actually learn how to get to the next level and make 10 grand every single month. Do you get me? So that was a mental obstacle for me that I really had to kind of fix up and really realize that education for me is the biggest investment I can make in my life. And I've never gone wrong.
Definitely. That sounds good. So what projects are you currently, up to? I know you've recently purchased a new property, is that correct? I mean, talk to us a little bit about real estate and how you're sort of moving into that.
Boy, so right now, there's different things that myself and even some of my business partners right now are getting up to. Property is one thing that I realized is probably the smartest thing for me to be able to put my money into. Because the thing is, I have this weird thing whereby when I start making a lot of money then starts disappearing, right? Because I start upgrading my lifestyle and stuff like that, and I start getting caught up. I can't lie to you. And that is very, very bad if you're thinking about generational wealth, right? I was kind of thinking about myself for my early 20s, and it's okay to do that and whatnot. Like, I've lived a very, very nice life and whatnot. I don't stress about money like now at all. But I wasn't really thinking about the next generation. So for me, I realized that my businesses, right, are going to be here probably for my lifetime, right, and hopefully my kids' lifetime, but real estate is going to be here for thousands of years with that end.
And it's been here for thousands.
And it's been here. So for me, that's why I'm really trying to, it's been new. Like, I, honest to God, didn't even know about the process of even buying a house, right? Like, for years. Like, even just getting stuff like debt and whatnot. Like, I thought just buy houses with cash and whatnot. Like, a lot of the mindset that I had was not conducive for how big real estate investors work. But then I started learning from people like Grant Cardone, which I know you know, and I started to realize what he was doing. I said, hold on, there's real estate money that I could, and even, I don't know if you heard of Jay Morrison, the American black guy. Started learning what he was doing. I started realizing that, generational wealth, right, can really be built with real estate or property in the UK. So right now, that's something right now that I've got some projects lined up. We actually control and own over £1 million worth of real estate right now, right, and I've only got into it this year. So
and that's all in the UK.
All in the UK. All in the UK right now. But we do want to expand that very quickly, and I want to have like at least an 8-figure portfolio by the time I'm 28. Like,
sorry guys, we've not even said how old he is right now. How old are you right now, man?
Yeah, I'm even 13.
For those obviously viewing it, you can see obviously he's got a baby face. But how old are you, man?
Me, I just turned 26.
You just turned 26. That's ridiculous. So you're probably worth 8 figures at 26.
Nah.
That's ridiculous.
Not yet.
That's good, man. So, what would you recommend sort of entrepreneurs, up and coming entrepreneurs? Because obviously, for example, in school days, I saw you selling the sweets, and I saw you trying to save cash to invest, and you probably didn't see it, but we was all looking up to you and sort of following, and we are following your footsteps, and we're I'm not saying we're not far off, but we're coming. We're obviously gonna get there. But what would you say to someone, let's say who's in, sixth form or university, or even as a professional at work, who isn't really a fan of their day job right now? What would you say to these type of people who are basically clueless, but they want to do something more meaningful and increase in capital?
So I'll say it really comes down to one bar that I actually heard when I was about 16 and 17.
Yeah.
And it was, do what you believe in and believe in what you do.
That's James Brown, right?
I do not know. I heard it from Ryan Leslie. I heard it from Ryan Leslie. And that was like the shifting point. That was like the turning point as to where I was like, do what you believe in and believe in what you do. Yeah. Like, do I really believe in the system that I'm going down? And if the answer is no, you need to adjust and find something you truly believe in. Now, for some people, it might be the traditional 9-to-5 route, right? But you need to make sure you're the best at what you do. Yeah. And that is going to require you to be able to educate yourself way past your competition. Yeah. And even if you're an employee, you still want to be an intrapreneur, whereby you try and build yourself to be able to build a company, right? And you don't just see it like, oh, you don't need to do self-development and whatnot. You should still be actively doing that. Yeah. Now, if you feel like your calling isn't a 9-to-5, where you don't want to get a regular paycheck and whatnot, there's actually so many mediums whereby you can monetize your knowledge, right? Monetize yourself in this day and age. It doesn't even have to be like, oh, you have to do a brick and mortar business. You can literally do like yourself in a social media agency and have clients pay you thousands every single month to be able to just manage social media profiles for them. And if you're young right now, I mean, loads of people now use social media for themselves. You can do it for businesses as well. And businesses would definitely pay you if you are valuable and if you're skillful. So my thing is, if you are right now not happy with your situation, ask yourself why. Do some introspective kind of learning about yourself and really start to figure out what it is you want to do and why you want to do what you want to do. And then from that point, start the process of thinking, okay, I'm here now. Here's where I want to be. Where's the gap in knowledge? Because 90% of the issues you're going to have in this life when it comes to money is just literally information gap. And if you can supplement your information from whatever resource you're getting that information from to be able to learn more, you can actually do more, then start to acquire more, and then from that point you will literally have more.
So in terms of learning more, you know, of course we can use Google, we can read books that already exist, because, you know, my philosophy is that if you're reading a book that someone's written, you know, they've spent their whole life doing research, and then you've obviously you've got that accessible to you, and you can finish in a week. But for those who may not, let's say things like social media, for example, or property, for example, you know, it's all well and good going on Google, but with the property situation, I know you invested quite a large sum in learning, so speak a bit more about learning, the importance of learning, and actually investing in your learning.
For me, my best way to be able to learn something is paying for one-on-one mentorship or paying for group coaching.
So one-on-one mentorship,
from somebody who's actually done the thing that you want. Don't pay people, right, just because they say, like, look at their track record, look at their actual profile and see if they actually walk the walk and they can talk the talk, right? There's so many people that are fakers, unfortunately, in this day and age, but you really want to be able to work with and learn from people that have actually done it, right? So make sure you just check someone's profile out. But yeah, like you said, even property, I invested over £40,000, right, to be able to get education on property.
That's like 4 years worth of uni, man. Or 3 years, you know what I mean? That's, all on one course. And how long is this course?
It's 2-year mentorship.
2 years.
2-year mentorship.
But that's going to set you up for life. That's going to bring in real income. I mean, go on.
I mean, like, even, and think about it in terms of ROI. For a lot of people watching this here, they might think £40,000 for a property course is insane for them right now, right? But I always look at the return that something's going to make me. So for example, like I said, we currently control and manage over £1 million worth of property right now. And again, this is my first year in property. And the craziest thing is that the property that we are actually working on, which I'm probably going to start making some social media posts on, it is something right now that by the end of like 2020, so the next year, it's going to make us, once done, probably at least 100 grand.
Wow.
Right, just from one property.
From one property.
Wow. And like that in itself, just with one property, is gonna pay for the education and then some. So if you can look at things in terms of that, in terms of what can this actually make me once I've actually learned this, and if it's gonna be higher, then there should be no question about whether we should do it or not. But if it is gonna be a case whereby it's gonna make you more money, but you don't have the money right now, think about how can I get the money, rather than it always being an obstacle whereby people say, oh, think about it like this, right? If you don't have food in your fridge, do you say, oh, I don't have the food in my fridge, so I'm going to die?
No, you got to make your own.
Figure out a way.
That's it.
Exactly.
You got to be creative.
Exactly. Don't open your fridge one day, like, once it's dry, and next thing you know, say, I'm going to die now. It's my time. Like, so the same way when you don't have money, it shouldn't be, oh, I don't have money now, I can't take this opportunity. It's, how do I now create the money? How do I now find the money? How do I now leverage the money? You might have to be more creative than what you're used to, but or ask more people, or network with more people, or even just provide something that you're not even used to.
Yeah.
But if you can figure that thing out, that's going to set you free and set you far above the competition, because most people, when they have money challenges, they allow that to stop them, and that prevents their growth ultimately.
So a lot of people may say that they can't come up with ideas. You obviously found creative means of generating wealth, but a lot of people might feel that there's nothing, that the market's too concentrated. Oh,
really?
Wow. Is it concentrated? Yeah. Is it concentrated?
How do you mean? There's too much competition?
Is
saturated?
Saturated. Wow. Concentrated is actually a synonym as well, though. Yeah. That's where education takes you, right? Yeah, segregated. Saturated. Oh my days, it's a late night, guys. It's a late night. Yeah, so the market's obviously saturated.
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult to come up with new ideas, creative means of creating wealth. So what do you say to those type of people? You know, how can they, you know, spark their creative juices and come up with something meaningful and valuable to society?
Education gap. That's what it is. They literally, if you're just saying that is coming from a mindset that you don't know how to be able to raise capital. And raising capital in itself is just education. You can literally learn from people that have raised millions, right, for their businesses, right, or for their projects, by literally, right, sourcing out the information and finding people that are skilled at raising capital, right, and getting understanding, right, from that. It might not even be like paid resources. There's so much information about raising capital right now. And I always say to people as well, like, if you can't raise capital yourself, right, think about who you know that has capital, has access to capital. Because oftentimes, within about, like, if you just look at your sphere, somebody probably knows somebody that has access to funds, and your job is to be able to find a creative way to be able to negotiate a deal whereby they can make some money. Because I mean, think about it. The best way I can build trust with you is if I can make you money.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna dislike me for any reason if you give me £1,000 and I'll bring you back 2,000?
Of course not. You'll be my best friend.
There you go. And that's the thing. You have to kind of communicate with people. Yeah. Just think about how you can benefit them, and as a result, you'll be benefited as well. Do you understand? If you can think about ways to be able to joint venture with people or leverage other people's money and not just look at your own. So again, it's an education gap. You just need to understand about how to raise capital. And I've done webinars literally like with people, like my students and whatnot that I teach for some educational stuff. And literally, I've taught them how to be able to raise 50k, right, for any one of their businesses from scratch. Doesn't matter how old you are. And literally, I've done it myself.
Yeah. So I'm talking more about the creativity of actually coming up with an idea, because a lot of people have this. They have this mentality that you have to be the next Uber or Netflix or you know. Yeah. Really and truly, your means aren't very innovative. You know, but they've been about. Yeah. People have done it before. Yeah. You know, it's that principle of in Tesco, there's so many different types of bread. Yeah. But it's the same bread. It's the same bread. So I mean, how can people, you know, shift from that mindset?
To be honest with you, right, the best way to be able to shift from a mindset, in my personal opinion, right, is looking at why you have the mindset that you have right now, and being honest with yourself and realize what does that kind of mindset cost you. Yeah. Right? So if it's a case whereby you have a limiting belief, ask yourself, what has this limiting belief cost me in this life? So if it's cost you, for example, if you are a single person right now, and your limiting belief right now is that you don't look good and no girls are going to want you, and that's the reason why you don't have conversations with girls, that's the reason why you don't go on dates. Think about that. Like, has this thing, right, benefited you or served you, or has it been something that's cost you and taken away from you? Yeah. And if that's taken away from your ability to be able to have fun, to be able to have like a social life, your ability to be able to have a relationship, then ask yourself, do you want this limiting belief right now, right? Or is it going to be a case whereby you're willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow? Yeah. And if it is the case whereby you are willing to sacrifice that, then in my mind, you then have to look at like ways to be able to create a new belief system in your mind, to be able to create new kind of neural pathways so you can really follow a new like course of life. Yeah. So in my mind, again, like, it's just about wanting it, and if you don't want it bad enough, you won't change, but if you do want it bad enough, you'll change. So
who would you say your top 3 most influential people are in your life that have really driven?
You know.
My days, you started. I mean, I did teach him how to bench press, you know. But I'll put some videos up actually.
Man.
I'm joking. Yeah, so in terms of business and personal development, personal growth, what three people can be in the world of business, can be personal, but what three people really influence you to sort of have that mindset that you have now?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That guy?
Yeah.
Woo! I've never seen somebody teach somebody how to become financially free in literally a contents page. Like literally, even if you just read the contents page, like your mind will be blown. And the maddest thing is that the principles are so simple, but they're so profound. I won't even give you free. I would just tell everybody, follow. Don't just read. Follow the principles of what Robert Kiyosaki teaches, and you will never go wrong.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Like if you can, the hard thing is a lot of people read, but they don't actually listen and internalize the information. They'll read something and do the opposite. I've never understood it, right? They'll literally understand information and they'll do the complete polar opposite.
Yeah.
But if you can apply and internalize and make it a way of life with how Robert Kiyosaki teaches, you can never go wrong.
Yeah.
That right there is the biggest influence when it comes to actually reading.
There you go, you heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Definitely.
So, listen, this has actually gotten me to the conclusion of the show, Sanu.
It's not possible. I thought you're gonna grill me.
Listen, I want to grill you, but the camera
Ask some more juicy questions.
You want some more juicy questions? What? Listen, you guys know very well that we're gonna see him again, but I want to just ask you, just to give and share some tips, tips, and then give any shout outs you want to, give as well, and that'll be it, man.
But what tips you want to know? Because there's so many.
I mean,
talking about life and business and what?
Tips for people who want to make $1 million.
Make $1 million.
So it's all well and good to make a few $100,000.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
To really make £1 million.
Yeah.
Give us tips on that.
First of all, divide $1 million by 365.
You're really doing that to me on the spot right now.
Yeah. Get a calculator right now.
I can do it for you actually. You know what?
Yeah.
Because if I did, I can't do it. Hold on 1 second. Wow.
It's about 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
That's correct. I actually knew that,
Really?
Yeah, no. 2007. Go for it.
You need to make sure, right, that you understand the value of your time, because let's even just segment a 24-hour day. A third of your life is going to be spent sleeping. 8 hours a day is gone, right? Literally, from that point, you've got 16 hours left. To be real with you, a lot of people, they can only really work for maybe about 8 to 10 hours a day, right, productively. But the rest of the time is going to be filled with traveling, eating, making sure that you have some respite, right, some type of gym, as I can see. Hey, you do 20 hours in gym, I can see. But really, most people can only have 8 to 10 hours worth of productivity in a day for them to be able to really bang out their work. Then you have to divide that 2007 by 8 to 10 hours, right? So that's going to be, if you're doing 10 hours, £270 an hour. Then ask yourself, because this is the thing that a lot of people don't really introspectively ask themselves, can I really build a system that can generate £270, right, per hour? If you are working, if it's going to be a service-based thing where you can only work for 10 hours a day, then ask yourself, can I really build a system that can actually build or generate £270 an hour for 8 to 10 hours a day?
Yeah.
If you are doing something whereby it's not service-based and it's product-based, then divide that £2,700 mark, right, that daily amount, by 24 hours and ask yourself, can I build a system whereby I can walk away from this and it will consistently make that hourly amount every single hour of the day, right? If it's a no, then you have to ask yourself, am I in the right system? And I find a lot of people, they want to have the big goals, but they have the wrong system. So for example, right, I remember one time where my partner came to me and said that she did the calculations because she wanted to do footwear, but she wanted to make the footwear herself, but she wanted to be able to make millions. And then she did the calculations and said, okay, cool. To be able to make a shoe, it's probably going to take me a week or so, and I'm going to sell the shoe for about £100. So my hourly amount, if I actually think about it, it's probably going to be about 67 cents per hour. If you're really just doing the math.
Yeah.
And then she realized something, that this footwear thing is not gonna, especially making it by hand, back in the day, it's not gonna get me to my goal. So you really have to ask yourself, like, listen, look, right, is this specific thing that I'm doing, right, gonna get me to my goal? And let's say, for example, in the case of social media agencies, right, it might be a case about, obviously, like with my Kuza and whatnot, you're gonna be working with businesses. You now have to think about what your pricing structure is gonna be like for these businesses, because it's all well and good doing social media for 1,000 clients and charging them, let's say, for example, £80, right, per month, and they'll be able to make 80 grand every single month, and then £1 million a year. But when you have administration and employees and all this other stuff, right, that people don't think about, then you realize that you might be making £1 million a year, but you might be spending 2 to 3 million, right?
Overheads.
Exactly, right? So I'll definitely say, like, especially in service-based businesses, if you want to make £1 million quickly, ideally charge a lot, right? Charge a lot.
Okay.
I'll definitely say that's been one of the fastest ways that I've been able to create £1 million businesses. And what I'm actually thinking about doing, which might be mad, is I'm thinking about actually documenting a brand new business, right, that we're going to take from scratch and actually showing people how to be able to make $1 million from scratch with a brand new business.
You've heard it here first on Kuzo Convo, so you're going to document that. And is it a case where you're going to be having ambassadors or people going to be involved, people who want to reach out to you? I mean, how first of all, how can people reach out to you?
Okay.
And because you said you're a mentor as well, and you take on students on an annual basis, is that correct?
Yeah. Periodically, it depends. We've actually got a new mentorship program coming out, right, which is going to be showing people how with high ticket affiliate offers, funnily enough, how we've had some campaigns, some social media campaigns. I thought we're actually going to delve into this a bit more, but I'll just give you guys a recap. But
Kuzo and Shani collab, but
we've had a social media campaign that we actually ran. And in a month, we spent about $30,000, right, on Instagram influencer shout-outs, and was able to actually make over $230,000, right?
Including paid social or excluding?
So we spent $30,000, right, on like just social media shout-outs and a bit of retargeting on paid social media. And from that point, was able to make $230,000, which is over 400% plus ROI from ad spend. And that type of campaign, we're actually going to be doing a brand new webinar. We can actually leave a link in the description as well after this podcast if you want to come up to this webinar. And we're going to show people exactly how we did it, right? It was with high ticket affiliate offers. We didn't own the product. We were just sending traffic, right, from Instagram influencers to products of other businesses, and was getting paid a commission for doing that.
There you go.
And the commissions were higher.
Give us a number. Give the viewers a little number.
Commissions were about $600, right, for every single person that was a client for that business.
I hope you do know that that's some people's monthly. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shani, for coming onto the show.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure being in your presence, and he's gonna be back. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Cool.